Friend, Shabbat Shalom to everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you this evening. Friends, we are living through very difficult and complicated times. And one of the things that is challenging me as a religious leader is to try to maintain focus on what is the central purpose of what I'm doing and the purpose of our community. One of the dangers that exists in the world that we are living in is getting out of focus and being distracted. I think of the fact of the many years that we have confronted the COVID-19 crisis, the vaccine, the masking, the pandemic, the deaths, and often it became all-encompassing fog in which we couldn't see anything else, and to a certain extent we're still confronting that. And now, at this point in our existence, we're confronted with the reality of a Europe at war, memories that seem to parallel Nazi Germany's attack on Czechoslovakia, in Austria, in Poland in the 1930s. These are very difficult times, and again, as we come to worship, as we come to experience our Judaism, one of the things that we struggle with is it is all-encompassing, that is always there. And so the danger is that we are constantly focused in on these horrible challenges, these horrible events, and they consume us to such an extent that we forget about the essence and the joy that comes from being part of a religious community. I think there's a hint of that in this week's Torah portion. This week's Torah portion is an extraordinary document because it speaks of the final consummation of the dream. The Israelites have received a tradition. The Israelites have been called upon to craft a tabernacle, a mishkan, in the wilderness of Sinai. And we are told in tremendous detail of how the people of Israel were called upon to offer all kinds of precious jewels, and the people came forward. And we are told that Bezalel, a man of wisdom and of heart, is called upon to bring together the tabernacle and to make it into something incredibly beautiful. And we read in the tradition some incredible verses where it speaks of the fact that Bezalel and the people who followed him were filled with the Spirit of God, and the people showed incredible generosity. And yet, this beautiful description of this artistic creation, this culmination of all these crafts and all this giving, at the very beginning of the Torah reading, we have almost a warning. Let me read to you the very beginning of the Torah reading. It says, Moses then convoked the whole Israelite community and said to them, "These are the things that the Lord has commanded to do. On the 6th day may be done, but on the 7th day you shall have a Sabbath of complete rest. Holy to the Lord, whoever does any work on it shall be put to death. You shall kindle no fire throughout your settlement on the Sabbath day." So forget about being put to death. That's not the issue. Incredibly, before this undertaking of this extraordinary building project, including all of these materials and all this artistry and all this carpentry and all this incredible finery that was brought together by Bezalel and his followers, a warning is given to the Jewish people. Don't forget the Sabbath. Don't forget the Sabbath. And what I believe is being taught us is something that I already shared with you. It's so easy to get distracted by the task that we need to do and forget about the essence of our tradition, the Sabbath, the music, the prayer, the study, the learning, the food, the smells, the joys. There's all this world out here with all these things that we need to do. But what we are meant to do on the Sabbath is to shut out a lot of that and to focus in on the eternal parts of our tradition. So that's the struggle that we are going to endure going into the future. I do not believe that the world will all of a sudden come into peace. I don't have a belief that all the things that challenge us as a nation will come to reconciliation and everything will be fine. That's not the reality of life. You and I, our community, each of us individually and collectively will have to struggle with many important issues that we confront in this world, from COVID to the environment to our democracy to peace and war in Europe. These are things are going to be there, and we will embrace them and confront them. But one of the things that I need to do, that Becky and Nathan and I need to do together, is for us to say, yes, there is this world outside that needs us, and yet we need to be true to the eternal beauty of our tradition. Like this evening, so beautifully. And I really thank them so much. Becky and Nathan presented us a whole new Lecha Dodi that I think just added such artistry and beauty to our service. We need that. We need that joy. We need that beauty. We need this Sabbath. That's what we are doing when we come together. We're not just saying, oh, we live in this world and okay, let's do services. What we're saying is that we can cut out a reality that transcends the challenges of the world and to bring a sense of peace and hope to our lives. So that's my prayer for our community. We'll do it here. God willing, we'll do it when we come back into our congregation. We're going to embrace the world and confront it, and we'll speak about it, and I'm never afraid to do that. But we are going to recognize that first and foremost, we are a Jewish community rooted in the eternal values of our tradition, of the Torah, of our rabbis, of our sages, of our ancestors, of the Sabbath, of our festivals, of our ideals. We will live that tradition because by holding on to it and using it as a focus, it will give us the strength to go into the world and to meet the challenges. May our Sabbath together tonight and always give us that strength and that clarity and that peace. Shabbat Shalom.